I'm Lowell Snow. I created the Worship Profile Kit, and I want just to explain to you a little bit about it and how you'll use it. Many churches find it necessary to make adjustments in their worship service, and as you probably know, this is one of the most controversial things that's come along in the last few years, really the last several decades. And what I'm offering you here is just a organized and non-combative way to go through an evaluation process to evaluate your worship service and then make recommendations for improving it. The kit's divided, as you see, into 5 sections. The first section is for the facilitator. That's the person who's going to be in charge, which would probably end up being you since you're the one watching this video. This is an administrative position, so there are administrative instructions in that section. There's an introduction and overview, a planner, sample worksheets, the actual worksheets, instructions for moderating meetings, issues that will need to be considered, recommendations form. In other words, that's what you'll use when you are completing the process and making recommendations to the church. Several texts for letters that you'll be sending out to members of the evaluation team, etc. And then a CD. Let me just flip over here to the back to where the CD is. This CD has some software on it. It has the planner in a spreadsheet form, and also the evaluation spreadsheet that we'll talk about in a moment. Alright, so let me just show you the planner here that will be used by the facilitator. This is both here in printed form or it's on the CD as an Excel spreadsheet. And of course you just fill in the information, but here's the great thing if you can use the computer form of it, is you would start here with your start date. In other words, for instance, next Sunday, and then the spreadsheet program would make recommended dates over the next 20 weeks to spread out this whole process for you. In other words, it would tell you what you need to do the first day, the second day, and between now and the next meeting, that sort of thing. All those would be recommended to you. Of course, you could change them if you want, but and then it's a very detailed presentation of the program, so that you just take it by the numbers virtually. For instance, here at the beginning of the process, it helps you select a committee to help you, and starting with your secretary and the person that's going to help you with paperwork and that sort of thing, and then somebody to make the video, etc. The other positions and people that you'll need to help you with that. All right, and then the second section in the book is about doing a video for the profile. The concept here is that this person will simply make an unedited video of a typical worship service, and this is just simply explaining to them what you need from them, and then them doing it. And then the third section is doing the profile. The idea is, from the video, the person in this section will take that video, watch the video, and document every transition in the worship service. And this tells them exactly how to do that. And then section 4 is the person who will transfer the information from the profile to a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is also on the CD, and this is a section that tells that person exactly what you need them to do. Here are some samples. Here's a sample of the spreadsheet that they'll be using. These are the categories that the worship service is divided up into, and then you see how over here they've written down the times, or they've inputted the times in the spreadsheet for each transition in the worship service. And the importance of this is that it's going to then produce a report. And this report of that worship service will become the beginning point of your evaluation. Instead of evaluating your worship service based on people's opinions, you'll be evaluating the worship service with facts about how you do things and how you are actually carrying on your worship service. Now, and then the most important part of the worship profile kit is the evaluation process. And this fifth section is for the person who will moderate the meetings in which this evaluation process will take place. Now, there might be a circumstance where a staff member will just go through this process by themselves, and that's fine. But even so, this would guide them through that process. This moderator might be the facilitator, might be the same person, might be the worship leader in the church, but not necessarily. The facilitator position at the beginning, that's an administration job, whereas this is a leadership position where you are actually dealing with people in a committee circumstance where you're talking about issues. So that very well might not be the same person. And so at the beginning of this section, there's a job overview and qualifications for the person that's going to be doing this important task. And then there are instructions about carrying it out. The agendas for the first several meetings and are pretty well detailed here. Here are the issues that that moderator is going to lead the committee to talk about based on the information from that typical worship service that's in the profile report that they'll all have. It starts with this number 2 here. Do our services habitually start late? If that's an issue that's brought forward in the profile. And that's just a simple thing. There's no emotional issue there. And it's just a good place to start, but it helps that committee start getting into the format that's going to be used for discussing issues that have arisen from this profile. And of course the song selections are going to be there, the way the service is organized, the way prayer is used in the worship service, those kinds of things are going to all be discussed during that time. And then there are just some letters here that will be used. The spreadsheet is all here on the CD, as well as that planner that I showed you at the beginning. I really believe that that this would be a great help to you, and I hope that you'll give it serious consideration. Thank you.